Hi, welcome. My name's Rose.
I'm Dave.
We're happy you're here. Thank you for tuning in. We wanted to take an opportunity to review our 2024 all-window extended Ram Promaster van. We think it's pretty cool. We're just about the point in our build where we're going to start to cover things up, and we thought it would be a good time to do this video so you see all the details. We're in Michigan. We have 3 kids, and they live basically across the United States, some on the East Coast in Delaware, some in Eugene, Oregon, and then some here in Michigan, downstate in Kalamazoo. We travel a lot. That's really how we use the van.
Yeah.
And that's important to know how you use your van for what you want in your van, the layout. We want to give back to the van life community. We have learned so much about van building from so many people, and there's so many cool ideas out there, and I think we've incorporated as many as we could. You start out and you want to do everything, and you realize quickly you can't, and you make some choices. Van life is like our boat life, and this is van 3 for us, and we have had 3 boats, and in boating they call it your forever boat. And so we finally found our forever boat, which I think is very similar to this van, which is now our forever van.
So I think, you could share our past boating experience. We did the Great Loop on a liveaboard boat, a 40-footer.
It was awesome.
But we've had 2 other boats since then, another 40-footer, Carver, which was a liveaboard, and then we've actually downsized into a boat that's still a liveaboard.
24-foot, which is basically what this van is.
Yeah, it sort of matches the size
of the layout.
Van we've got.
Yep. So a lot of similarities, but van life is awesome, and we love traveling. Back to this van, the vision was spacious feel, simple systems, easy to use, and it feels like home. And I think we've accomplished that.
And I think we had a 40 Econoline 2011 that was our second van, but our real first full build out. And with 50,000 miles over the last 4 or 5 years, we realized we really enjoyed traveling by van and wanted to continue doing it. So that's why we decided to upgrade and get a new van.
The first one was like a shuttle bus with a bus door. And as soon as we demoed it, we realized we wanted a vehicle with a cab and seat belts.
And the road noise was
the road noise was horrible. Yeah. So that was van 1, and we quickly realized that wasn't going to work. So van 2, as Dave mentioned, the 40 Econoline, all window extended, very similar to this van, but much more basic. Honestly, we used that for 5 years. We've put over 50,000 miles on it, and we really enjoy road tripping for sure.
Yeah.
In December, we bought this van. It has all the latest and greatest technology. It drives great, but it was completely empty. The space cargo van, all metal. The very first thing we did, I think, when we got it was just turn the seats around and think, oh my God, what are we doing?
Well, no, but trying to get an idea of what we wanted to do based on our past experience. And she mentioned that it was our boating experience as well. We knew how we wanted to use the van. We had a couple of takeaways. One of them is with the upgrade and putting some money into, we had fallen on the idea of having zero gravity beds.
Well, wait, before we go there, we had a few constraints right off the get-go.
Well, oh yes, I can take that. So we have a garage where we're doing the build, and our second van, the 40 Econoline, fit properly because when we built the garage out, it had 8-foot doors in the front and a 9-foot door, which could easily accommodate the 40 Econoline van. When we upgraded to the Promaster, being much taller, it just barely fits under the 9-foot door.
We're talking inches on both sides, even when you pulled the mirrors in.
And that, noting that we're not going to redo the garage, really dictated how we thought about what we would do.
The layout and
with the van. So what went out the window was the idea of putting any air conditioners on the roof, any solar panels. So we did not put any holes in the roof.
Yes. Our vision, spacious, simple, easy, feels like home. The constraints that we had, one of the first videos that we saw, shout out to Vanland in Eric, Cozy Road, and I think it's Coastline Vans in California. This layout has twin beds, north-south in the back, so the position of the beds are at the rear, coming forward. Then we knew how much room we had for the 2 galleys on either side.
Yeah.
Basically, we have electrical, EcoFlow on the driver's side, plumbing on the passenger side. Some of the special features, the HVAC is probably the most important because of the fact that we couldn't do max air fans or AC.
And looking at a lot of videos, these are fixed windows, and we talked about maybe switching those out for operating windows, and came upon the idea that let's try and do a air exchange type system that was similar to Embassy out of Indiana that we saw in several videos. Didn't get a lot of information on how they did that, but
we figured it out.
We mocked something up and trialed it, and it actually turned out great. Yeah.
Yep. The other cool thing for comfort are the zero gravity beds that we found on Axel Bloom site. Then the other thing we liked about Cozy Road was the curved countertops. I also wanted an extra large sink. We're typically at the kids' houses so we can use their showers, but to and from and sometimes other trips, whether you're in a campground, similar to boating, you're in a marina, sometimes you get a shower and sometimes you don't. I think my biggest thing, because we don't have as much storage, we have airline bins in between the galley and the rear cubby, and they're amazing. And I think George, maybe Humble Road, first mentioned them.
And then we had a friend who was a commercial pilot that mentioned them again, which really sparked our idea of doing it after really having the layout with the beds inside the van loosely fit. We realized we wanted more headroom above them.
And the beds are kind of also a dinette area when we finally get the tables mounted. It really does make a big difference. We've been traveling in this van throughout the whole build. And early on, we had wooden templates for countertops. We zip tied everything down. We've been using the van, and that really helps to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what do we need to change. So again, the airline bins, he has a side, I have a side, and it fits so much more than just a cubby would, and it's so easy to just pull them down and get stuff out in and out.
They hold a lot too.
Yeah. The last thing of our layout is we chose 80/20 extruded aluminum. My biggest shout out would go to George from Humble Road and Jeff Fry Vans and Lisa too. We watched hours of their videos.
Well, and the 80/20 gives you the flexibility to modify or change your design, and that was huge. Build process was iterative, meaning that we would trial things a lot. We had a main vision. We would try something out. So the 80/20 allowed us to pull it into the van, take it out, modify it, put it back in, see how everything fit, and we did that many, many times.
We chose to do laminate on most of our panels. We're trying to use fabric on the wall panels and the trim piece. What's left is a lot of trim.
Well, this is the perfect time before we close things off, and you can't see them. So after this, we're going to be walking you through a little tour of the van, showing off each of the systems.
I'm just happy to show off this van a little bit. It's pretty cool. So why don't you walk us through the van?
Well, it's a Ram Promaster 3500 extended wheelbase. This is it. You can start to see what we've done with the build. Kind of gave you a walkthrough on our vision. I think we're going to talk about the sequence of the build. We added these step up, which are OEM aftermarket product. The floor that we talked about is Baltic birch, 3/4 inch for the subfloor, and we then used vibration dampening with kill mat and also closed cell foam. That went on fairly easily, and then we secured the subfloor using self-tapping screws, stainless steel that went all the way through to the floor of the van. I'm going to close the door so you can get a better look at one of our HVAC functions. As we mentioned, all these windows are non-working windows, so they're fixed. Our solution to get proper airflow is really to have these cowl covers and what we're calling a scupper system. The ones on the passenger side actually blow air, outside air into the van. The ones on the driver's side vacate or push air out of the van, and it gets a fairly good airflow. I'm estimating that we're probably over, well, actually each one of them has the ability to handle over 90 cubic feet per minute. So the size of our van, we're more than sufficient in getting complete air transfer out within 30 seconds to a minute, which I think would be pretty remarkable based on our cooking skills. So with that, move this back and we'll go into the van. And you'll get the first look. Our past van, we only had one operating swivel seat, and that was the passenger side. This is located where the S-bar heaters locate with the vent, and we have a step-up platform that we're used. We still have a little trim to put on it. We'll be using a table with brackets to swivel so that we can use this as actually a seating area if we want to play cards or whatever. Forward, the main feature in terms of the improvements to our old van are the salon area, as we call it on the boat, but it's the two kitchen areas. So this is the first unit, which is on the driver's side, as well as the upper cabinet. We use the Wilson Art Thinscape, which is only a half-inch thick top cabinet, but we really like the ability to work with it. And as we mentioned, we started out with a template that we built, just tie wrapped it down and took several trips with it. Once we realized that it was the way we wanted, we had a local countertop person actually use a CNC machine to cut it out for us, and that really wasn't a main issue, and it turned out perfect. So with this system, we have the refrigerator, we have a short pantry system set up that we have yet to put the panels on, a couple of drawers that we're going to be using for kitchen items, an additional storage area here that will also be a pull-out. On the other side is a smaller cabinet, but this is our water side of the product. With the extra countertop material, we actually had them cut out a top so that we could, while we're traveling, have it flat. We have an oversized sink, again with a swivel. It's got a pretty neat feature in that you can use this to spin around, but have a spray system or actually just use the normal faucet. It's oversized so that we're going to be able to shampoo our hair when needed and do a sponge bath. On the front here, again, a couple cabinets. This was all based on our space fit out with soft close. This system here is our little garbage, which we still have to finish our trim. And what you're noticing is right now some of the panels are physically mounted that we've done. Some of them still need hardware and need to be mounted. With this stage of the build, we're going to be able to show you what's underneath, starting with the water system. So this is our gray water tank, and it's taking water from the sink. And then we have the air vent set up here, as well as a way to discharge it. This is our first attempt at it, but it's all pretty well laid out, strapped down. We've actually had it filled up and used it, and is working properly with no leak. Moving backwards to see where the main system is, you can see our freshwater tank, which is a 20-gallon tank, nestled right next to the wheel well. Along with that, you have our water pump system, our hot water tank, I think it's the 4-gallon version, our accumulator, and then we decided to use PEX-A. Here's lessons learned that we had from our boating community, and what we do plan on incorporating. You're noticing that in some cases we've got stainless steel clamps on top of the PEX-A. Just like in boats, vans, things vibrate a lot. And so one of the things we were able to learn in our boating experience is having extra clamps. And so we are planning on, where available, instead of double clamping, having clamps put in the middle of two unions or joint locations. If we do experience a leak, we're going to be able to very quickly move over that spare clamp into the area that's leaking and use that clamp to tighten it down. The other thing of note is with the actual wall here with our plumbing, we've got ball valves to shut off different zoning parts, so you can see where the water heater, where we're going back to the rear mixer, and then where everything's coming from. So we've got the red system for the hot water tank. So this is the water heater accumulator going over to the board here. It's coming back to the hot water tank down there. It's coming back up as hot water, and we've got a rear mixer in the back, which we'll talk about later, and then the line that's actually going up to the sink as well. Same system for the cold water system as well. These here are just electrical, which we'll talk about later. Then in the back here, for ease of access when we're back there, we also wanted the ability to do a shower system with the doors open with a curtain. So we've installed a mixer here, and we're using the plug-in spigots that twist on, and that's what you're seeing in those two things on the right-hand side of the mixer as well. This is the fun part. The electrical system was a version or Gen 2. We decided to go with 2 battery solutions. So these are 2 kVA batteries that weigh 40 pounds a piece. I didn't want to go with a 5, the larger battery, because weight's important and being able to move things in and out. And size, in terms of how it would lay out, was very important too as well. So all this electrical system was set up, again, mounted. This is our distribution panel. The power hub's located here. The distribution panel is here. Our AC system's here, and our DC systems are located there. And then from the electrical standpoint, we have 2 ways to charge the system. First is an alternator. Through the alternator from the battery box area back to the system. The Ram Promaster has a high current alternator, so it does re-tap or refill up the battery bank fairly quickly. The second is when we're stopped, we'll be using a shore power. On the AC side, we have 6 separate circuits. Some are dedicated to specific devices like the hot water tank, the microwave, and the bed. And then others are dedicated to outlets that we use. So as an example, on each side of the salon, we have 2 separate circuits, AC outlets that allow us to have more than one device or high amperage device for like a cooktop and a Keurig running at the same time. On the DC side, we have several circuits dedicated to specific devices like the water pump and the refrigerator when we're underway. The remainder of them are used for lights. So as Rose mentioned, we have 6 of these. They do swivel. They do provide quite a bit of light. The nice feature is there's again, manual. They have the ability to have blue light at night. Each of the lights has a charger capability as well. So we have 2 dedicated for over the countertop on the driver's side. We have 1 dedicated over the sink, 2 over the beds, and 1 which will be located right here when we get the trim up, that will be used for when we enter the van. So once we had everything laid out, this is the upper salon area for the driver's side. We have a cabinet which will be fixed for our HVAC and our heating, as well as a microwave air fryer located over here. This location is actually going to be a flip-up cabinet for storage and for food items. And then to talk about the HVAC system that I set up, there's really 2 versions. One is to vacate air. I tried to get the vents as high up on the ceiling as possible. I created a system that shows really 2 different fans. The thin one is right here for more of a whisper quiet feature. I just turned it on. You can hardly hear it. According to the manufacturer, it's supposed to handle, I think, between 30 and 40 CFM a minute, or airflow cubic feet per minute. And then realizing that might not be enough, or thinking it might not be enough, we also incorporated a larger fan in series, which is a little bit louder but has twice the air volume, and you can literally feel the air sucking out of the van cabinet as you're doing it. So this side is going down. I'll turn this one off so you can hear it. The whisper quiet one is still on. On this side, we have the same setup for the fans. This is in fact providing fresh air coming into the cabinet, which you can see. And alongside it is the one that's actually blowing quite a bit of air, even more than you'd probably see coming out of a normal vent for a car, but it blows quite a bit of air. I'm not sure if we're going to need the larger fan capability, because as I mentioned before, we have the 2 up front providing fresh air in and vacating bad air out, and we've got them in the back located as well, which you can see on the bottom there with the controls, and over here on the driver's side, again, blowing air out. On this panel as well, for quick access to the water pump, we have a very quick on and off. You just heard it go on, which is the water pump. Over here is the water tank heater timer. Typically it takes 30 minutes for the 4 gallons to heat up fully. So you can set this as a timer, whether you want 10 minutes or 30. We currently have it set for 30, so we'll turn it on and keep the heat on. I'm going to put this back. And so this is one of the HMIs for the EcoFlow system. We bought I think it's a 6-inch diagonal system here. That's a requirement for it. We also bought the other one, which is a 10-inch, thinking we'd want to maybe have a little bit more information related to sensors and whatnot, which we can add on later in our van build. We did buy the hub that would allow you to incorporate more sensor capability as well. So the fun thing about the EcoFlow system, it is not plug and play, but it's pretty close to it. And it does provide a lot of information related to how long, what the battery conditions are, what your inputs and outputs are, how much wattage are you actually using. And it turns out this is more than sufficient with the 4 kilowatt hours. It's working out very well for us and our needs. Probably have this mounted physically right here. And then we'll obviously be securing things. I've done a little bit in terms of cable management with brackets and what hold it anywhere where there's electrical lines that might have a chafing situation. We're planning on doing that, and that's of note. One thing we didn't mention earlier about lessons learned is we oversized a lot of the cables, thinking it wouldn't matter, but in truth, a lot of the devices don't handle the heavier gauge. So for a lot of our DC side, we're using 12 and 10 gauge wires, and a lot of the devices can't handle 12 gauge. So in hindsight, we wish we'd gone with 14 or 16 gauge DC wires because lights and that nature. This is actually laminated. This is not. We're going to still wrap this. So we each get one side. We're going to be using bins like this. And this is where we'll be having a lot of our clothes and storage. And it does provide quite a bit. The neat feature of this, in reality, is just the fact that when you're sitting in bed and getting up, you've got this extra headroom, and it does feel like there's a lot more space in the van. Back here, again, we'll have more storage. This is going to be a tip-up door for more storage. We've yet to mount our TV, which will be a flip-down TV. What you're not seeing on the bed frames here is our zero-gravity beds. There's a base as well as the mattress. And then finally, I think the thing we haven't talked about, which is quite the rage, there's a lot of videos on what type of toilet you're going to incorporate. We decided to go with one like this that will be tucked underneath a bench, and it is locked down so that when we do need to use this, we'll be able to pull it out into the aisle space here, do your business, put it back, and then again slide it back underneath. It'll have a covered frame, I think, on the or cover on the front, so you can't actually see it when it's tucked away. And then the last piece that we're working on right now, besides finishing out the back, is the trim, and we're going with wrap pieces. A lot of these are actually, some of them are fixed with automotive fasteners. Others aren't. They're just put on with magnets, and you can hear it click. I think it'll be more than sufficient to hold it. Shout out to the folks that make these types of window coverings. They work great in terms of keeping the van warm at night and for blackout, and they're all used based on the use of magnets. So this is a shot coming from the cab of the van, so you get to see the overall length in terms of what we have. We've since added the zero gravity beds and bed frames. If I recall correctly, we thought we were going to end up with 30-inch wide mattresses. Might be a little less than that, but we've tried them on a couple of trips now, and they seem to be working fine for both of us. I'll just show you an example of how these things work. First feature is just the head tilt up, which again we'll be able to enjoy reading with the overhead lights ahead. And then the zero gravity feature is it also has your legs can be elevated as well. This is one of the cool features that Rose and I both dreamed about doing when we first had the concept of purchasing a new van and upgrading our existing van experience. Both beds have the same capability. And again, as you see when you're sitting with the airplane beds, you'll still have a feeling of a lot of space over your head when you're even sitting in an upright position. One of the main benefits that we saw, and it's again about usability and serviceability, the thing we liked about the zero gravity beds with the ability to tip the front of the bed up is now we have full access to anything we need to do related to the water system with our shutoff valves that we can zone out things. The same can be said here for easy access to the distribution panel. Again, that's all going to be accessible right here, battery systems and power supply. The majority of it will be accessible by just tipping these things up and being able to have access to them. So again, looking from the back of the van, kind of get an idea of how tight it is for our garage structure, but as Rose mentioned, we're just inches short, both width-wise and the height of the van. The back end side of the upper cabinets will be accessible by cabinet doors. We're planning currently on just using lift-off panels with magnets and handles to be able to access storage behind here and underneath there. One of the things we tried to save space on real estate and passenger side is we do have a 50-inch long length that we can store longer items. And then of course the part that we haven't finished yet is developing a bench system and closing all this off with panels, but a bench system for the toilet so that you actually can't see it. We're going to have a bench seat system here which will tie into this, as well as the ability, we're going to try, plan A is to do the flip down version of a dinette table that can fold out so that you can use both sides just like Cozy Road.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work, we'll probably incorporate a lagoon system where we'll have the brackets located and be able to slide those out as well.
Yeah.
This is the overall length. You can see the upper part with the HVAC systems and the controls right there, easy access again from the bench seating. And then, well, what do you want to do on the back? Again, a GFI located right here for providing any kind of power to the outside if we have the back doors open. This is the mixer system for hot and cold water. This is the port, which will be a twist on for filling the freshwater tank. And this is the twist on system that'll be for a wand shower if we want to incorporate taking showers outside, or yeah, cleaning things off that we might have gotten dirty outside. Can't see very close here, but this is just the back end of the gray water system. With the supply side, this is just an air vent system that I haven't tied off yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to stay with that. And then you can also see here the supply side that's going up to the top of the vent. The only thing we haven't incorporated yet and are thinking about is water gauge sensors, which we do have the electrical side capability of doing. We just haven't incorporated them. My sense is with the accessibility, we're going to be able to see what our freshwater and gray water tank levels are just from a visual inspection. They'll be easy to get to, so I'm not sure we need that. We do, however, have, just as the batteries have, heating pads incorporated in them. You can see here I haven't wired it yet, but we're also using heating pads underneath the freshwater and the gray water tank should we get into a sub-zero condition while we're out traveling. So that's the back end side of the system. For a wrap up, we just wanted to say how much we've really enjoyed the van build so far. A lot of trials and challenges. Sometimes, as we mentioned, it seems like we weren't making a lot of headway. But anytime we stop and share what we've done with others and start going into the detail, it's just amazing how much stuff we've done related to the van and the van build. So it's been a lot of fun. We're looking forward to using it this fall and winter into next spring.
Thanks for tuning in and letting us show you our van. I really love how spacious it is. It's really fun to be in. It does feel like home. It's real easy to drive. I honestly love everything about it. Maybe we'll see you on the road. I hope your journey always leads you back home.
Happy travels, and hope you're enjoying the road.
Thanks.